Disclaimer, this video is for the demo edition of The Joy of Creation, specifically the remake that will be released on Steam. If you're watching this video in the future, things may not be the same on the full release. The biggest key to surviving the night is understanding priority. When you first start the night, you'll always have a short period of time before Freddy becomes active. You should always use this time to locate fuses. Inside of your office will be several cabinet spaces. Fuses will always spawn here throughout the night, even in spots that you've already checked. At minimum, you should try to have one fuse in hand, along with knowing the location of at least one other fuse. Later in the night, you may need multiple fuses in quick succession, so trust me, this will save your life. And as a side note, if you can, I highly recommend that you designate what I like to call an emergency fuse. This is a fuse that you will never touch unless absolutely necessary. The power system is the most important mechanic in this game. If your power ends up running out completely, you will die to Freddy. To the left of the double doors is a closet area with a fuse box. This is where you will have to swap the fuses out. Now, remember how I said that the biggest key to surviving the night is understanding priority? So the fuse box actually has its own priority order as well. The main power is the most important, because if it ends up running out completely, you will die to Freddy. If the lights in your office begin to flicker rapidly, this means that your main power is extremely close to running out. If this happens, you must prioritize it over literally anything else that's going on. The second most important thing is the flashlight battery. Your flashlight is a vital mechanic for dealing with certain animatronics, more on that later. You don't want to let the battery get too low either. If this happens, you may not have enough charge to finish dealing with certain attacks. Lastly is the camera power. The reason why this is the least important is simply because the camera battery drains slower than the main or flashlight power does. You usually don't have to prioritize charging them. It's typically just good to wait until you know that you'll have a few free moments to do it. Freddy is one of the easier animatronics to deal with, at least once you understand his mechanics. Freddy will spawn at either the closet, hallway, or window. You can tell where he is by checking the camera system, where on any given camera he'll be either far to the left or far to the right. Once you see where he is, take note of his location on the camera. When you open the respective door or window, you must angle your flashlight so that you flash towards his direction. If you flash away from him, then he'll disappear and eventually move on somewhere else. Once you open the door or window, to angle your flashlight, all you have to do is move your mouse towards the direction you want to flash. Here is a video example of this mechanic. So, for the closet and the hallway, if Freddy is on the right, flash right, and if Freddy is on the left, flash left. The only camera where this is different is the window. See, the camera is facing towards the window instead of away like the other cameras, so you actually have to do the opposite. So if Freddy is on the right, flash left, and if Freddy is on the left, flash right. It's very important that you flash Freddy because it's actually how the time progresses. It turns out that flashing Freddy actually advances the time by 1 hour. As shown in this clip, you can see that the time is 1:14 before I flash Freddy, and afterwards it's 2:17. And in case you are wondering, the minutes on the clock will not actually advance the time. When it reaches 60 minutes, it will just reset back to 0 and continue counting up, at least until later in the night when minutes just stops functioning at all. Foxy is one of the harder animatronics to deal with just because he's more aggressive and won't give you as much time to fend off. Foxy will spawn at either the closet, hallway, or window. Make sure you avoid opening the door or window while he is there. If you do, you'll end your night prematurely. You'll be able to easily see him on the camera system as he'll be right in front of the camera. Dealing with him is pretty simple. All you have to do is stare directly at him on the camera until he disappears. He will probably change positions a few times, but if you keep staring at him, he eventually will disappear. It's not that it's difficult to deal with him, like in terms of the mechanics, but especially later into the night, he will appear more and more often, usually when you're trying to deal with something else. Bonnie is probably the easiest animatronic you'll have to deal with throughout your night. Bonnie will spawn at either the closet, hallway, or window. You'll be able to see him in the camera, but don't actually look at him. Looking at Bonnie through the camera will cause him to get mad and hit the camera. This will cause the respective camera's power to be completely drained. Luckily, you can recover from this, because all you have to do is replace the fuse for that camera, and everything will be back to normal. Also, make sure that you don't open and flash the door or window that he's in, or else he will jump scare you and drain your flashlight battery.
No, come on!
Chica is one of the harder animatronics to deal with, just because you have to prioritize her over almost everything else. Chica will spawn smack in the middle of your office, hanging from the ceiling. The way that you can tell when she's about to spawn is when you begin to hear this rising sound. Once she spawns, you have a very limited amount of time to find all her cupcakes. Several of them will spawn inside of the same cabinets that you find the fuses at. Once you find one, you have to shine your flashlight at them to get them to disappear. You must do this to all of the cupcakes, and once you do, Chica will then despawn. If you don't do this fast enough, though, Chica will kill you. Also, flashing all of these cupcakes requires a lot of flashlight power, so you want to make sure that your flashlight power doesn't get too low in the event that Chica suddenly spawns and your flashlight dies before you can get all the cupcakes. As a side note, you should use your time searching through the cabinets to locate any fuses you may need later on. So, after learning the mechanics of the power and all the other animatronics, what is the order to prioritize? Well, you need to prioritize your threats in this order. 1. Main power. 2. Flashlight power. 3. Chica. 4. Foxy. 5. Camera power. And 6. Freddy. I purposely did not include Bonnie in this list because, well, he's not really a threat, and even if you do look at him, it would really fall under camera power rather than being a separate threat of his own. If you want to watch the full, uninterrupted footage of the night that you're seeing right now using these strategies, check the link in the description. Let me know in the comments below if what you think about this demo, and if you want to see any more content like this, whether it's strategy guides or FNAF related content or both. And make sure to like and subscribe. Y'all have a good one.